Hello everyone, I'm Dave Bain, the current mayor of the city of Detroit. I've been in office since May of 2009, and in that time I've done everything I could to lay a firm foundation for our great city. Before my time in office, I founded the Bing Group in 1980, and because of my success in that, and with partnering with Ford Motor Company for the Detroit Manufacturing Training Center, I was and still am confident in my ability to bring Detroit back to the height at which it was and even higher. Today we are faced with some difficult financial decisions. The first of which is something I'm excited to announce. We are one of the final 4 cities for ESPN's X Games. This would have some great fiscal benefits for our city and the surrounding areas, not to mention be a heck of a time. The second is not as lighthearted, but just as important, Belle Isle and the art at the DIA. We have these very important decisions to make, and with the help of Governor Snyder and Emergency Financial Manager Kevin Orr, I am confident that I can bring the Motor City back to a better place than it has ever been before. As I mentioned, we are one of the final 4 candidate cities to host ESPN's X Games, along with Chicago, Illinois, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Austin, Texas. For those of you who don't know, the X Games is an extreme sporting event. So motorcycling, inline skating, car racing, skateboarding, and BMX, and a bunch of people who like to stare death in the face. Kevin Crease and Garrett Kohler have been the front men for a bid to get ESPN to bring the X Games to Detroit, and I will do everything I can to help them. If ESPN brings the X Games to Detroit, our local economy will get the help it needs and deserves. I'll do everything I can to make certain that ESPN uses local resources. We have everything they need right here. Why would they enlist help from outside the city? I will make sure our small businesses are included because we are able to support the X Games. In addition to the traffic that the X Games staff and large number of tourists would bring, there are hundreds of millions of people who watch it on their televisions worldwide. Micronomics did a case study of the LA 2010 X Games and found that it had a $50 million impact on the city. I would also encourage ESPN to hire locals for setup, tear down, and anything in between, which would create temporary jobs. Detroit is in a tough economic spot right now, but the X Games could bring us the springboard we need to get back on our feet. The second issue I would like to address is that of our assets. Belle Isle is our beautiful city park and the largest island city park in the nation. However, in the 2013 and 2014 budget, $2.5 million is listed and approved in the case that Kevin Orr wishes to revisit turning Belle Isle from a city park into a state park. If Belle Isle is leased, this would release $6 million from our city's budget and allow the state to invest resources into the island to improve its condition. But I am aware that many of us value Belle Isle as a Detroit asset. If Orr decides to transfer the resources dedicated to the park, I will support him. We would not be losing the beauty that is Belle Isle. If this should happen, I will do everything I can to push free admission as it is now. A park is a public place, whether it's owned by the city or the state. I would also discourage hiring anyone but Detroit residents on the island. Along with Belle Isle is the issue of the Detroit Institute of Art. Our DIA has a multi-billion-dollar collection of art, but coming from my personal opinion, I hope it stays there. It's a sad day when we have to trade something of beauty out of necessity. While we would be able to invest the money we would procure from the selling of certain pieces, I really hope that we are able to recognize the pricelessness of the art that is in the DIA. Both of these assets are part of our history and enrich our city in ways that money is unable to. While financial decisions have passed out of my hands and into Orr's, I am confident in his ability to make the right decisions for our city and for our culture. In conclusion, Detroit is in a tough spot right now, but if I am re-elected mayor, I am sure that I can get us out of that tough spot. Along with myself, Governor Snyder and Kevin Orr are doing everything they can to ensure financial security for our city. I will do everything I can to bring the X Games, for ESPN to bring the X Games to the city of Detroit. I will also, although the financial decisions of Belle Isle and the art at the DIA are not meant to make. I will encourage or to make the best decisions that are in our interest as a city of beauty and culture.